So has anyone here heard of Hearthside Food Solutions? Show of hands, anybody? You guys are cheaters, I know you. And that's really because Hearthside doesn't have a brand. We have no marketing initiatives that we do. We don't do any of that, so we're not like a normal company. We are a co-manufacturer, so a lot of the products you see when you walk down the snack aisle at your local store have been produced or packaged by Hearthside, but they're sold under the brands of our customers. Really, the product that we offer is the trust that our customers are able to place in us that we're going to produce their product, package their product with the same care and concern that they would if they did it in-house. So we have to make sure that we are better and faster than they are, or we wouldn't even exist. And a big component of that is our employees. We have to make sure that they're constantly engaged, focused on everybody working toward the same goal. Without that, we wouldn't be in business, because everything that we do, our customers could do for themselves. Back when we started in 2009, we came from we acquired 4 factories in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and with that, we already had existing employees. So it became really evident that not everyone was engaged. In fact, some people were actively disengaged and working against what we were trying to do. So we had to find out what the problems were and how we could correct those. So we started with kind of a simple survey product, just 2-page paper manual process to dig into what was going on. And it was a great step for us, a great first initiative to be able to start building that engagement and that culture with our employees. But like all other companies, we started growing. We grew really fast, and we had to figure out what was the next step for us. So we went from 1,000 employees in one city to having 5,000 employees across the country. So we took this as really an opportunity for us to advance and to really make the survey reflect who we are as a company. We went from having all of these Excel files, all of these formulas that we weren't really sure of the validity of, and we weren't sure that we were catching all the trends. From that, we took a look at every single question we had been asking, and we said, are these questions still holding value for us? So we had some questions that were retired. We had new questions that were industry standards that we started asking. And we were able to kind of make the survey reflect who we are as a company. That was important for us. A big example of how we did that, instilling the culture of our company into the survey, was the safety category. We went from having just a few safety questions to having an entire category of safety. And because at Hearthside, safety comes first, we put that category at the very beginning of the survey. It was really helpful for us and really insightful, because we thought, we talk about safety at the beginning of every single meeting. We have all of these KPIs. Everybody knows if you ask them who's responsible for safety, it's not the safety manager. It's I'm responsible for safety. My coworkers are responsible for safety. Everybody is. So we thought maybe this would be an HR initiative. Maybe we would notice it and feel good about it, but that would be the end. But it wasn't. After we did it, after we ran that first survey, we had so many employees come in and say, you get it, you understand now, safety's first, you're showing our culture. So it was really powerful and impactful for us to see that they actually cared. Another example of our culture at Hearthside and how we've really shaped our opinion survey process around it is our leadership team. You can see in the middle there, Rich Scalise, he's our CEO. There's Dwayne Hughes on the end with the hairnet. He is our Senior VP of Supply Chain. You can see he's coaching some employees through some metrics. And then on the end, teaching at one of our internal training courses, Steve England, who's our Senior Vice President of HR. So these guys are guys who aren't sitting in an office. They're really heavily involved in the day-to-day culture and activities of our plants. They're attending calls every week on plant performance the prior week. They attend every single one of our internal Hearthside University training courses. They know a lot of our hourly employees by name. So we wanted to make sure that the survey reflected their level of involvement and their level of concern. So what we did is during their annual steering meeting, they invite someone from Hearthside to come and talk about the survey. You know, what did we do well? What did we not do well? And the first couple of years we did that, and we knew they had limited time. This meeting was really for them to talk about the business and what our goals were and how they would steer that the next year. But they allowed us to come out, and we asked, how long do we have to talk? You know, do we have half an hour, an hour? And their response every single year has been, take the time that you need. Take as much time as you need, because engagement of our employees and our culture is really important. So I don't know if that's something a lot of companies have, but it's really important for Hearthside, and it fits with our environment. Something, though, kept coming up and kept kind of nagging at us. We would have plants that would do focus groups, they would do action items, they'd complete them, and then we get back to the survey time in November, and their results would stay the same, or worse yet, they would go down. They would say, what's going on? I thought I was doing what they wanted. And really, we dug into it, and it could be a couple of things. It could be that all these items that we tackled, that we felt like we were fixing, we weren't doing in a way that really supported what our employees truly needed. Or it could be before the survey happened, we had bad production the day before. It happens. Or we could have, maybe the weekend before, we had too much production and we had to draft people on the weekends so that they were working instead of playing. These things, how could we measure their impact? How could we make sure that we were meeting our needs? So we looked into putting together kind of an on-demand product, a pulse product, so we could survey smaller groups of people throughout the year and see what we were doing. The nice thing about the way we did this, we were able to ask questions from our existing survey, but on the other hand, we could also ask questions related to what was currently going on. So if there was a situation going on right now in that plant, we could target them with a very specific question, seeing how we were doing. And that's been really insightful for us. An example of that is in our London, Kentucky facility. Recently, we had a customer pull some business from us and put it back in-house, which when you're a co-manufacturer, that happens from time to time. It's to be expected. But for our employees in London who were suddenly not getting their 40 hours a week, it was impactful. So we fought through that. Our sales team did great, getting us more volume to replace that, and now everybody's happy again. But what did we learn from the situation? What did we do right? So we used the Pulse product to ask our employees things like, during the drop in volume, did we communicate with you openly and honestly what the situation was? Did we schedule the hours that were available in a way that was fair for all of our employees? What would you do differently if this were to happen again? And from that, we were able to gain some really positive insights and information that we'll be able to use in other facilities if something like this were to happen again. So it was a really powerful tool, and I tell you guys that you should really, instead of doing a one-time survey, find a way to continue that conversation. Make sure you're listening constantly, because things change. We know in business things are constantly changing. So I hope you found something helpful, and that you'll be able to incorporate some of that into your survey process.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you for that example of how technology really helps continue that conversation and accelerate through those problems. So, coming back and saying, are these actions working until you're waiting a year and doing the wrong thing, right? So checking and adjusting along the way.